Sometimes it overwhelms the vine. Keep watering the bitter seeds, the strips will grow in time. I remember well the day the light went from your eyes. We beat that bloody horse to death till something broke inside. I guess we all go a little crazy sometimes. Oh, I guess we all go a little crazy sometimes. Just try to love without drawing blood, it's assisted suicide. A word, a fist, a careless kiss, 1,000 ways to die. I need to be more to you than a method to survive. Life support and tubes and cords, there's so much more to this life. I guess we all go a little crazy sometimes. Oh, I guess we all go a little crazy sometimes.
Hey, everybody, let's continue and keep it going. Going to give another mad shout out to everybody if it's a few minutes past 12 o'clock on a Saturday. Yeah, let me get this up. For those of you watching with your eye holes, you're seeing me raise this mic to my mouth. Oh, yeah. If it's a few minutes past 12 o'clock, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. That we're just coming off the back end of a wonderful show. So shout out to my podcast queen, Kelly Ellis, and our very special friend. He's famous. Is there any other friend to have? Now, everyone, let's get real because we are actually being joined today by a few of the cast members who are going to be joining us just a little bit later, as well as their lovely director, Lady Beata Pilch, who's actually throwing this new show. It's actually the first English production in theater here in the city of Barcelona. It's called The Troublemaker. It's going to be playing this weekend and next weekend as well. And I'm going to be flooding Al Gore's interwebs with all of the Eventbrite links that you can get your tickets to before this provocative play finishes next week at Espaipaluso, which is found in Puebla Sec as well. We're going to get to all of that good stuff here on the Club with Lucas, and you already know what's it do. Follow us with your peepholes at YouTube at RCE 1069 FM at YouTube, but follow my ass on Instagram at the Club with Lucas and on TwitX, however you want to refer to it now, at the Club W Lucas. Now, we've got a lot of jams to get to. Actually, what you were just hearing right now, and I just let it go on, and I probably shouldn't have, but Tori Sparks. Lady Tori Sparks is going to be throwing down a beautiful concert that's going to be happening on International Women's Day on the 8th of March at Luz de Gas. Now, we're also going to be putting up a lot of this information as well throughout the week because we want to get we want to get tickets out. Everything that's going over there is actually also helping out foundations here in the city that help women. And Tori is throwing together a beautiful melange, a veritable cornucopia of wonderful artists that are going to be joining, all female artists, of course, all repping what we're doing here in Catalunya. Now, we do it in English here on the show. And we're going to be putting that information as well. So that was Tori Sparks that was just playing as well as a little bit of music that I'm going to throw you right now. Who is it? Well, Olivia Dean. Olivia Dean is a new artist who's just thrown a little bit of an EP out. And a single came out of hers a while back, a few weeks ago. But we haven't had time to play it until now, Children of the Corn. So now you're going to hear this. It's probably the only person that's going to be playing this as well in Barcelona. And this is Dive by Olivia Dean. Remember, you can catch the jams live as well as 106.9 FM and RCE.cat. We'll be right back in 3 minutes.
It isn't working. I'm a tidal wave of question marks, and you're just surfing, leaning into me like it's a knot. It's so crazy lately. You just understand my feelings, make me see I'm capable of flying and feeling beautified tonight. I'm ready to dive. Maybe it's the loving in your eyes.
No. Oh, yeah. Let's just get into it. That was Olivia Dean, and she's not coming to Barcelona yet, but when she is, we're going to let you know here at the Club with Lucas. Okay. Now, let's get to some news because very few people give you the clues and news that you can use in English like I do. Okay. Now, there's something going on here called the Caso Coldo. It's the Coldo case, and it has broken the Spanish internets because what it is basically is a scandal, but not one of the good scandals where there's sex involved. Wah, wah. It's actually a scandal that's involving the masks. When everything was popping off at the beginning of the Olympics, at the beginning of the pandemic, the emotional Olympics that we all lived the last 4 years. And what happened was one of the right-hand men of Pedro Sanchez, who had just been, investitured at the time, had just been thrown into his case, actually into his administration. This man had to be dismissed quietly. There was never given any reason as to why. And apparently he had been doing some shady gravy dealings, as many people were doing, including community president Isabel Ayuso with her brother, who nothing ever happened to them. Just making a note of that. If you hear anything in the background, I apologize for the annoying construction, but I'm going to just talk over it. And so now what this is causing is a lot of drama within the Congress of the Parliament, of Spain, because they want this man to step down, which of course is going to throw off balance the number of socialists versus Pepe. But the Peperos are using this as a case of, see, you're corrupt and you need to talk about this corruption. Now, this could really bring down the Sanchez government. If it comes out that he knew about this stuff and that's why they quietly let this guy go and he did nothing about it, this could be pretty big on Sanchez, which means it could enact, if he has to leave his position, it would enact the necessity for another set of elections, which could then bring in some pretty shady gravy characters, since that's what seems to be happening these days. Speaking of shady gravy, talks on Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal appear to be on the track as of this morning. Now, President Grandpa over in the United States was actually gracing the television channels with Seth Meyers at the beginning of the week, which was a fabulous interview, and I really recommend everybody watch that because I'm up to here with him talking about he's so old and fragile. Okay, check this interview out and then we'll talk. Okay. Because I don't want to hear about your little TikTok snippets. You can go F off right now with your internet snippets. However, he did say that by Monday there would be some talks going on about ceasefires. And then yesterday he said, no, this is not going to happen. Well, it seems to be back on track, but tit for tat. We don't know. When you're dealing with extreme right-wing governments like Netanyahu's and the Palestinian government as well, things are never fully on track. But this comes off the back of the day where literally a ton of aid was thrown into the shores and waters of the Gaza Strip, forcing people who were waiting there to rush to try to get this, which then caused not only stampedes, but apparently it's being noted or said, it's alleged that Israel's IDF forces shot at the people. 117 plus have been killed, hundreds more wounded, just to get food and aid that was being dropped by U.S. and UN forces. It's reported now that over 30,000 people are dead and killed through this in the Gaza side. Of course, it's still about 1,600 in the Israeli side. And we are walking towards what seems to be a form of genocide. Let's hope that powerful forces that be will take over instead. On the other side of the aisle, there is also a federal judge warning that Trump might get what he asked for because the Supreme Court will be taking up the former president of the United States case of immunity. Now, Donald Trump's lawyers are claiming that unless the president is charged by the Senate and convicted of doing something where he has to leave his position, he should have full immunity since he was the president when the Capitolio, otherwise known as January 6th, took place. Because of that, and they even said this, even if he shot and killed somebody, but the Senate didn't convict him of it, he could not be found guilty because he has presidential immunity. They even said if he wanted to get Seam Till 6 to go kill his political rival, but the Senate didn't find him guilty because there's more Republicans, this is all, hypothetical, then he couldn't be charged because that's presidential immunity. This is insanity, but the Supreme Court of the United States is 6 extreme right judges. Well, okay, 4 extreme right, 2 middle, and 3 liberal judges. They only needed 5 in order to take the case up, and 5 of the judges, all of course on the extreme right, took up the case, and so it will be now held in the Supreme Court's hands. This is now delaying the trial that was going to be held as of this month in March with Judge Chutkan in the Federal District of Washington, D.C. It has now been delayed until the end of April because that's when the Supreme Court is going to hear this case. They're going to wait 2 mother effing months to hear the case. And then 88 days after that, Chutkan promises that she will start the case. That would theoretically be somewhere after July but before September. If any other holdups happen, though, it would be pushed back towards October, and then the Attorney General of the United States would not let that happen, which means that the elections would go on in the United States without a convicted federal indicted criminal running for president on the Republican side. However, there is nothing in the Constitution of the United States that says he cannot run for president from prison. This has never happened before. We've never had anything like this because I don't think the slave-owning framers of the Constitution had ideas that some idiot like this, German Scott, would be doing these things. But alas, fun. That is what the Republican Party has become today. Hey, hey, hey. Now, we're going to throw on one more track, and then we're going to give it all to the queens and king here of The Troublemaker, now playing at Spice Peluso. In fact, the opening night jitters was last night. We're going to be getting to a lot of that right now in just a minute. But we have an explicit track coming up, so cover your ears, children. Leave the room and go have some Lucky Charms or tricks. They're not just for kids anymore. All right. You up? I'm up. This is Yaya Bay. It's another track that just released last week, and I've been itching to play it, but we had some things to do. Now we're going to give it to you, and we'll be right back in 3 minutes, everybody.
This is hell, but I've been waiting all my life for this. All the lips that tell me lies, and I can't wait to kiss. Tell your little buddy kitty, put him in a chokehold. Cap all on your tongue, but how you make it go so local? I've been running circles, I've been putting in the time. Baby, shut the door and keep on telling me the lies. We argue all day. You love the hard way. And ain't no making that right. Would you please stay the night? Please stay the night. That dick is golden. That dick is golden.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
That's just a short little ditty by Yaya Bay. All right, folks, and we are here with the beautiful people representing and everybody, so I don't mess up anyone's name. I just want you to introduce your good selves to the people. Please. In fact, shall we begin with Queen Directress over here, please? What's your name, love?
Hello, I am Beata Pilch from Chicago.
Hey, hey, hey. And that is the director and creator and also lady at the helm of Trapdoor Theater International, if I'm not mistaken as well. You can follow them and get all that good stuff as well on Instagram.
Hello, I am Nima Lahan. I'm an actress and choreographer, and I play Elizabeth in The Troublemaker.
I love it. Sir.
Hello, my name is Samuel Allen. I am an actor too and writer, and I am playing Eric in the play The Troublemaker.
I'm loving this. And again, this is if the opening night jitters popped off last night. We've got a performance tonight and another one tomorrow. And then we have another round of this next weekend as well. And you're going to be getting all of this good information from us all week long on Instagram, on Facebook, on TwitX, and the YouTube. Now, let's get to the nitty gritty, because when we're putting this on in a space, any space can be a little bit daunting. Now, Espai Peluso is a beautiful place, and I remember it from before when it was the Oracles Theater, I believe it was called back in the day. When you're putting on something and you have you got a large cast, and you're putting it in a tighter space, not the smallest space, but a tighter space, does that give more jitters when you're in the back? I'm just wondering, because I miss the theater jitters. Anybody,
As,
actors,
as an
director,
audience
whatever.
member, does it give you the jitters, or as an actor?
As the actor, because when you have more space, I just wonder if you feel more breathy. But when it's a tighter space, you've got 15 people, you all gotta, sometimes there's more
stage-
energy tension.
Sorry, I think the stage picture is much prettier as a sculpture in a tighter space because you see everyone, instead of it being spread out, everyone's together and it just looks gorgeous when it's in a tighter unit.
How many people are in the cast, madam?
10.
10.
Yes.
Madonna. Let's tell me about your role, please, Nima.
Elizabeth. Well, she runs the factory. She hires immigrants, the foreign labour, and the whole town are against her. But she doesn't care. She's above them, and she's basically battling with her. She wants to be the boss. She wants to be respected. She wants power, but she also wants to be loved by these foreign labourers. And it's sad. You see her demise throughout the play where she falls in love with one of her workers. And yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want. I feel like I'm giving it away a bit too much. But yeah, it's a very fun role to play.
Wow. Okay, so you just actually touched on a couple of topics that come up in my life because of what I do and work. What is the premise of The Troublemaker then? Because we're dealing with immigrants and factories and sex and love and a little bit of rock and roll.
Yeah. Yes, there is rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, Sam, what would you say about it? How would you describe the premise of it?
I would say it's very much, the very familiar story of a stranger comes to town and then everything kind of starts to change and unravel, and it has some really important themes, it looks at xenophobia, it looks at, the feeling of kind of isolation in a new culture, and then just, other. It's such a common thing in human nature. It's just always us against them. Whether it's the nation, whether it's a smaller group that you're in, like your sexuality or your love of Pokemon, whatever it is, you find your community and then everything else can be other. And in this case, it shows what happens when it gets to the extreme of that. And unfortunately, we're seeing that so much in the world right now, especially with racism. And, this is just a tale as old as time. But hopefully we've given it a different spin and some, colorful flavor to it.
And I would like to also add the importance of the fact that this is also in the English.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely ask a few more questions about that later on in the segment. But when you're dealing with a play in English here in a Catalan region, in a Spanish region as well,
Magic.
what is the necessity that you feel? I got to just ask the question. What is the necessity that you feel that English serves in theater here in a place like Catalonia?
Well, English is the universal language in the world. So I think it's good for a place like Catalonia, actually, that is not as friendly to the English speakers. Not in terms of that they're not friendly, but it's one of the countries that actually
Be challenging.
Yes,
Yeah.
doesn't speak English first. I mean, they speak more English in Poland.
Do they?
Yes,
Really? Wow. I would totally think the reverse, actually.
you would. But I think Poland is really hungry to be accepted with the rest of the world. But Catalonia is wants to keep it isolated within themselves. So I think it's really good that we are promoting an English-speaking play for.
And the first one of the year.
All right.
Exactly. Again, at Espai Peluso in Carrer Tapiolas. De Salva, excuse me. But the number, please forgive me, because it shot from my mind.
68.
68. De Salva 68. Now, also located right outside the parallel metro stop here in the city. Now, like we said, it's going to be running for the next 2 weeks as well. But how would you describe the play without giving any juicier tidbits away? And what drew you to it? Lady Pilch, please, or Pilch.
Well, I've already done this production in my theater in Chicago, like more than 20 years ago, because I'm the artistic director of Trapdoor Theater in Chicago. I'm celebrating my 30th anniversary this year.
Yeah.
Woo!
And
From Chicago.
Yes. Love it. And this is a theme that is current. It doesn't go away, especially with all the news that you just reported. It's more current than ever right now in many different levels. as Sam had mentioned, from all different types of groups. So I like to do political theater, political comedies. I like to make them a little sexy and funny so that we can hear the message more clearly. Because I think that if we present a topic that's very serious and dark, to show it in a way where we can kind of laugh at ourselves and understand better what we're trying to convey in this play, is kind of what attracts me to this type of material. So, yeah.
I would also like to say that Lady Pilk makes the best little Instagram snippets. You do it so perfectly, what you say in my thank you. You're going to be seeing a lot of this with an Eventbrite link to it as well. Thank you for the concise answers. But also, all of us in this room, if we think about it, are, well, other people from our countries would call us expats. But we're motherfucking immigrants up in here sometimes. And I mean, for
just
me,
a fancy word to dress it up.
I was running away from the Bush administration to a better life, only to be taken over by Rajoy and the Pepe. But that's another story. And so we're not necessarily running away from certain hardships, apart from Brexit, maybe. But there's an element that we are also in an immigrant expat world here, as four of us, even though we're seen in a different light. But you're from New York, it's different. It's actually harder. I think if you're a U.S. American and now a Brit, it's actually a bit more difficult to get legalization than if you're coming from certain other countries. I don't know what you've been through, but
Well, I have a Polish passport.
Yeah.
that's right.
Jump through some hoops, though, for the rest of you.
I'm sorry to focus again on you, my love, but madam, in general, what do you look for in an actor when casting, or a character that you're describing, composing?
I really like bold actors that make big choices and are not afraid to be open and accept everything that I throw at them, like these lovely people right here. Actors that are free to play, because there are a lot of actors out there that, even though they've had like theater training for 4 years at a university, they're still very stiff and shut down. So I really look for openness and the ability to play.
Amen. This came up last week in a session. Do you think comedy actors sometimes really nail dramatic roles? Because if you can make somebody laugh, it's easy to make people feel emotionally and want to cry. Not easy, but to make people laugh and want to take a little tinkle in their pants. Please, please, please.
I think there just has to be truth behind what you're doing. Amen. And honestly, this process, it's been 2.5 weeks, and Beata's cast it so well that, like she said, she's chosen actors specifically for this role that aren't afraid to go big. But it's also about listening to each other, working as an ensemble, having truth with what you're saying. The style of theatre it's very stylized, it's absurdist, it's very in your face. And I think to go there, yes, to make people cry or laugh, even if it's big, there has to be truth behind it. And that's the beauty of what we've done at Trapdoor, is we've taken this play with this, theme of the other, flipped it on its head using this style and throwing it in the audience's faces. But actually, you can still follow the story and understand each individual character's journey, as well as being amazed and wowed and all sorts of others. Extra question now. How's choreography played into, like, when you have to find your mark on stage and whatnot? Does it help you with movements, I would presume, as well? Have you imparted that to anybody? Because you're a choreographer as well. Yeah.
Do you use any of that in your performance?
Yeah, thank goodness we had Nima for this.
Yes or no? Okay.
Because the whole thing is super physical, and we had to learn quite a bit of choreography, and it's non-stop because the characters are on stage the whole time.
All 10?
All 10. We never leave the stage, basically. So in between each kind of scene, we're all kind of moving in character, in motion, and that was something that took a while to synchronize. It's probably one of the hardest things we had to deal with in the short time that we had. But then as well, we have some fantastic scenes that are just going to blow the audience's mind with the kind of physicality and the choreography that we did thanks to these two geniuses. So yeah, it's very exciting, and it's really liberating as an actor as well to be able to use your body that way.
Where did you study?
I went to university in Southampton and did a performance degree there.
You did do a performance degree right there. When you're studying acting or performance in general, were there certain things that you remember from professors or tutors back in the day that you still hold true for your acting?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, with like a lot of jobs, you kind of just learn on the job, and that's really where you get your experience. But there's definitely some, you know, things that stick in your mind. But for me, actually, more than the university degree, I went to an after-school drama club, you know, as a teenager, and that was just, you know, a young couple teaching drama, but they, you know, knew how to get us out of, you know, our comfort zone and really build up our confidence. And you know, I'm so grateful I had that experience, because that really is what has helped carry my whole kind of acting career. So yeah, big thank you to Xenakis and Catherine for that.
Beautiful shout out. Beata, madam, excuse me, frog and throat. Do you write plays as well?
No, I don't actually, but I
God,
love.
You give me a
brilliant-
writer's vibe too.
Oh no, actually, I
Seriously.
don't write at all, because there's such brilliant literature out there that I don't even know how some of these. Our play, for example, Fassbinder is one of my favorite playwrights, also German filmmaker from the 70s. All of his plays pretty much have the same structure, same kind of formula, and it's like poetry.
He's a director too, isn't he? Did he direct?
He directed films. He wrote and directed his own films. Yes. So and I love language in shows. You'll never see like David Mamet in my theater. I really love
Drop the mic.
heightened language with a poetic flair, and because I
Yes.
think as an actor, it's really fun to wrap your mouth around those juicy words. So, yeah.
I want to audition for you one day. I would like to. Not kidding. Okay, let's get to another question. How easy was the representation of these characters for you? Was it easy to get inside their skin or underneath their clothes?
Ooh,
For Liz.
for Liz, I think that to not be liked was difficult for me. To really not be liked, and to spit in the faces of the townspeople, and really, you know, she almost enjoys it because she's above them, and I found that quite difficult because I had to balance that with her also having, you know, her love interest. So finding a good balance between hating the town, being hated, but also wanting to be loved. And I think I found that in opening night. I had a few surprises for myself.
How did you tap into it, if I may?
Well, what I did before is I wrote a diary as Liz, just to get into her mind and understand, you know, her story before, like where she went to school, what her favorite color is, just so I can start, you know, when I go around Mercadona, I can start thinking like, what would she buy, and really get into her head. And but yeah, what happened on stage was, it was really electric, just having the connection with the other actor, and again listening to each other. And I really found new things because I tried something new, an actor responded, and I'm like, oh, it's electric now, and we've got this new, you know, interaction. And through that, and I'm sure through the rest of the run, I'm going to find more moments like that, you know. So,
And it actually connects right to what you said. It's the connection, the energy between everybody.
yeah.
10 people on the stage. I'm still tripping with that. How do you keep... Oh, I guess everybody with that connected energy, they just keep the rhythm going. How long is the play?
It's an hour.
It's just an hour? Just over
Quick,
an hour?
hot hour.
Hell yeah. So you come and give it to the people.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they don't know what's hit them, and their heads are still spinning by the end of it.
Is it safe for children?
No.
Ooh, definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely.
So
I mean, if they watch TV, what could be worse?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the inappropriate
Beatrice
stuff
full
is language.
mic drops. It's true though. Scheisse.
It is, yeah. Or if they have TikTok, they're
Yeah.
gonna see worse things.
I mean, nothing
but
could be. It's the theater. It's an educational, environment.
But maybe under 12, maybe better not.
It's a bit too
No.
intimate for that. And, we've got
Okay.
spread legs and topless men and...
Again, if you have a phone, there's
Scintillating.
nothing worse than you could see. Then it's the theater. It's a safe place. I
yes,
disagree.
know
but
what?
parents advise. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Parents advise
Parents
maybe.
buy their 2-year-olds phones. What are you talking about?
I won't tell you what my mother used to describe as normal. So you don't want to know. But I don't think I can say that here. So going okay, now I have another question. So I have a list of questions, children. You know how I roll. I am not a type A. But if you started 30 years ago in the wonderful house music year of 1994, we didn't have all of this, the trappings of social media at the moment. And do you see a difference between the mindsets of how a different audience between then and now? Please,
Well, I was thinking more about the actors because one of the reasons they do keep them on stage is so they don't go off stage and check their phone right away and then come back on
Madonna.
with phone energy.
I want to record that. Can you say that again?
So,
Wow.
so I do notice a big difference. That is like a little trick. It's a joke, but it's really not. One of the reasons I do keep everybody on stage is because nowadays we're just so addicted to be like, I got to check my phone. I can't miss a message, and.
God, that's why I keep 2 phones so that nobody knows if I'm on online or whatever. Because I don't want that motherfucker to see me. Okay, but then that means that is shortened, based upon what you're saying, everybody's, what is it called?
Nobody
Your attention
retains.
span. Attention span. I mean, hello, my attention span.
People have stopped retaining things, and we used to know everybody's phone number by heart and all these things, and now we just can't even remember the
Still
note from the night
remember.
before.
God, I can. What a night. Oh, what a night. So then how does that affect the actors?
Well, we are hyper aware on stage. We do lots of warm-ups, like lots of drama games where we're looking at each other, we're on the same,
Yeah.
plane with eyes to the horizon, and when we're moving, it's a mix between it looks like chaos. We're moving and we're moving with each other, dancing with each other, moving furniture at the same time, but we're completely hyper aware, and it's got to a point after 2 weeks where we just know where everyone is on stage, and it's very tight, but it's also magical. Like the timing of the music, and when we get into place and the lights come up and it's like boom, the scene starts. And I don't
How
know,
do you
just-
deal with the fourth wall energy?
It's a good one. I mean, especially
don't
with
have a
this
fourth
one.
wall.
We
This
broke
one,
that bitch down.
I mean, we're not afraid to
right.
look in some audience members' eyes or get close to them. Like we said, it's an intimate space. Don't let that scare you guys. Please still come. Like audience
Oh, we'll
members
see you there,
sometimes
children.
are like hesitant about those types of situations. But like it really all lends to the experience of what the play is. So yeah, definitely the fourth wall is just shattered in this case. And you're going to be on a ride with us. You're going to kind of be with the flow and enjoy and see what goes, and you're going to be surprised. But we're not going to hurt you. It's a safe environment. So
Safe space, guys. Safe is spy. Why the creative arts for the 3 of you? Why the creative arts? Why not arte and tech? And maybe you do that, but Why the creative arts?
I'm the only artist in my family.
Okay.
I come from a very strict kind of working class Polish immigrant family, and my mother really didn't want me to go into the arts because of the reputation that the theater had back in the day of the kind of people that go to the theater, artists and their bohemian ways.
And eccentricities.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. But I think it saved my life. I could never imagine not being an artist. And I think when you have a calling, I've never known nothing but the theater all my life. I've never done anything else. So I was driven to this. place, and also the kind of theater that we do is very unique, and I'm very proud of creating this kind of style that is rarely seen, and actors rarely get the chance to play in this type of material.
Scenario,
So
exactly.
yeah, one of the reasons they're also on stage is because they're my set, they're my living set, and the experience that you have seeing the actors literally creating the entire environment for you is a really thrilling experience for me, and I love it.
You know, one of my favorite authors, Richard Bach, says that rarely are members of one family born under the same roof. I'm wondering if you found that you created a family through Trapdoor.
Oh yeah.
And what that has meant to you, coming from your family. And really quickly about a Polish question, can you make Polish cheesecake?
No, but I can pretty much make Polish anything else. I've never wanted to
Okay.
bake because otherwise they'd be like this.
I'm a terrible baker, but Polish cheesecake is my favorite cheesecake ever. Okay, but going back to the question, madam, how you formulated a different family from that inner realm. So what does Trapdoor mean to you?
What does Trapdoor mean to me? It's my place that I can be free and experience anything that I choose to want to have in my life, because the theater is so gives you just ultimate freedom. I guess it means to me ultimate freedom. And in our life these days, we struggle with all these things that oppress us. So in the theater, there are no rules. There are no laws.
I wish we could apply a little bit of that to our lives as well, you know? Well,
yeah.
based on the rules, of course, you don't go hurt anybody. Remember, look at the 11 principles. It's a satanic temple. Suggestions, literally, look it up. Suggestions for others wanting to get creative or involved in the theater community here. Because it's a growing, expanding community. There's several little theater companies and production homes as well. We've got a lot of people who have been, you know, because of people like Lucy Lennox that have been thrown out to get some more work. But also, there's a bunch of communities with the improv actors and improv actors. There's so much that's finally happening, specifically in the last 5 to 10 years, I'm going to say. So what advice might you give to others who want to get, you know, just arriving but want to get it creative in the English-speaking scene as well? What advice could you give them? Anybody?
I think, you know, just if you find one, that will open the door to find a lot more. You know, that's what I found, and I think a lot of actors or improvisers have found, basically. But so look online, you know, you got meetup.com has some great events that can lead to that. And then you meet someone and they say, oh, I'm also part of this theater company, or I'm also doing this improv, come join that. If you just type improv Barcelona, you're going to find so much stuff now. It's become huge. You know, we've got the Comedy Clubhouse where we have Watch This Space. They do an improv night every Wednesday, which I kind of host every now and then. And they've got another one on Thursday. Then you've got Big, of course, which is Barcelona Improv Group, and they have their own space. They're
And
fantastic.
the new one, TBC, as well, TBC Improv. Wow.
And Bigley Studios. They do courses. They're brilliant.
No, Bigley, that's not from...
They do screen acting and
Bigley. You know who says that, right?
screenwriting and
It's Trump. Trump says Bigley.
no, he doesn't.
I swear to God, look
He
it up.
don't
Yeah.
say that.
He's got Bigley.
They're fantastic
I
though.
love it. See, so there's a community for you, especially if you're arriving here as an immigrant expat. There is a community for you for our English-speaking audience here. And also, follow Trapdoor Theater International. Follow Sam as well. Lady Nima, I didn't find you. I need to find you, madam. And because all of these, like he said, it connects you to everything else that's going on in the city. And so if you're arriving in Barcelona, and that is exactly what we want to do here at the Club with Lucas, is fuel you into these things as well. Now, actors. It's been a brave year for us as actors. How do you use your craft? Whoosh, I'm going to direct this to you.
Okay.
How do you use your crafts to help you in life a little bit?
to help me in life? Oh, well, I've always been part of the theatre community, like, you know, born, bred and buttered, darling. And
Where are you from originally?
London.
Okay,
West
I felt
London.
that.
And I feel like the theatre community have been so open, like London, Barcelona, wherever. And like Sam said, once you go through one door, it opens many others. And that's the reason why I stayed in Barcelona. Actually, I've been here for 9.5 years. I was only meant to stay for like 6 weeks. I know.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone's so generous, and you know, everyone really holds your hand here and wants you to get involved in things. There's always projects popping up. But how has it helped me? I feel like my personality is definitely my biggest asset, and I thank theatre for that, for, you know, being able to be so open and working with people from different backgrounds and ages, and the sense of community that theatre gives. Like, as soon as I tapped into that, I didn't want to let that go, and I made the decision to be an artist for the rest of my life because of the sense of community that you have with theatre that you get nowhere else. Like, you don't get that in an office, or you don't get that as a teacher, you know? So
Because it taps into so many different things that working in an office does not necessarily do that.
exactly, and people are sharing their stories, and you're learning new skills constantly. Like in this project, we're working with a shabam dancer, never heard of that before, who plays the foreigner, Giovanni, and learning, you know, about shabam, and, you know, another technician who knows about lights, and you're constantly getting information, and, you know, and working with Sam, who's an incredible actor as well, and watching his style. Like, you're picking up all these details and, you know, developing your own craft. So that's
Excellent answer.
okay.
Excellent answer. Sir, can we throw that to you as well? How do you use some of the things that you've learned in your crafts in your life as well?
I think, you know, luckily I got into acting as a kid, basically. Like, my parents, again, I grew up in an international community because I grew up in Cyprus, but my parents are from England. So they were like, okay, something we can do as a family is join the, like, kind of local Amdram theater. And I was a kid and on stage, like, singing in pantomimes and stuff. And that just, you know, gave me the so much confidence, you know, because, you know, I'm a little bit, I guess, of an introvert in my day-to-day life, but I think learning how to be on stage, be in front of the public, that's helped me so much for other times in my life where I need to do that. You know, if I'm teaching, then, you know, you've got to have this confidence, this persona to give, or if you're giving a presentation for something, you know, so it's really extended in so many ways that way. And then also just thinking creatively and thinking outside the box and thinking like, okay, it doesn't need to necessarily follow such a strict structure. There's other ways to do things. Let's try something different.
Damn, I feel like this interview has been following a pattern of conversations I've been having the last 6 to 8 days. It's straight, even this morning. One of my business clients was telling me how she admired, and out of left field, because I haven't followed, and a lot of us have not followed the specific patterns that society tells us. You need to do this, have the 3.5 kids, have because of the dog. Don't forget the 0.5. And the little picket fence or the property, you know, the Spanish dream of you get that funcionario civil servant job and you have your family and this. And when you go through your 30s, 20s, 40s, and you don't establish that, you have to, you know, you make things happen in a different way, not sticking by the rigid structures.
Yeah.
When you break down those rigid structures, though, how does that affect your family? Were they a little bit like, I want children? Do you get that shit? Have you got kids? Maybe you do.
I
I'm sorry.
don't.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I recently turned 32 and no, I don't.
Do you get that from mom or dad?
Not at all, actually.
Hallelujah.
I think it's changing.
It is.
I think I don't know if anyone else feels that, but I think it is changing now. And 30s doesn't mean it's the end of your time. And
Not at all.
You know, it's,
No.
Janet Jackson had her first kid at 50.
30's the new 20, baby.
Okay. And Forever 39 is Forever 39.
Darling.
Okay, wrapping it up in just a little bit, but what are your muses and inspirations when doing your craft? What are some of the things that push you? And
That is always
Muses.
good. I mean, I think, you know, a lot of us always have other actors that we look up to, but
Such as?
I mean, I'll always be a Heath Ledger fan. Like, he was just fantastic in all his roles. And then I love kind of big character actors, you know, like Johnny Depp for his acting back in the day, not as who he is right now that we know. Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, you know, these like larger than life people, and like you know,
I adore Jim Carrey.
I love Jim Carrey, and you know, like you said before, it's they're actors that are comedians and they're stellar.
That is
And
why I
they
asked
can
the
also
question,
do
was it 'cause of Jim
drama.
Carrey? I'm not
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly. Like I really think that's the kind of actor I would love to be. But also day to day people in your lives. I think that that really, even if you don't notice it, you're usually picking up on things, little quirks, little way things that people talk, and then you kind of steal from their personality and put them into your future characters. So that's an inspiration for sure.
Dig it. Madam, muses, inspiration?
Muses and inspirations. Well, I always work with women. I mean, that's a choice that I made. Women in theatre, even the teachers from my roller disco teacher, Lola, she's started a company on her own, Beata, incredible woman to follow. In EPA Productions, Sue Flack, and I really surround myself with powerful women who, running the arts and doing their thing and saying what they want to say, and they aren't afraid of, with sharing their skills, who they are. I love working with Beata because the first production that we did, it was so in your face and so unafraid and daring. I was like, this woman isn't afraid, and it really, translates on stage, or it translates in the class that I do with Lola, and I'm so inspired by these women, and it really helps me grow, and it pushes me to do my own projects, so I think those are my inspirations. The women are in my life.
You just reminded me. You know what? I want to make an apology. This is the second English production of the year. I think there was the first one last month.
It was by
Blue
Blue
Book
Book.
Theatre.
Yes.
Forgive me for shout out to my people there, but this is the
Adventures in the
first one in
Cold.
English, and it's by Peluso. For the year 2024. Madam, what about you, Beata? With
My
these inspirations?
biggest inspiration is from a theater in Zakopane, Poland. Polish theater is the best. If anyone ever gets a chance to go, I know. But they act from the top of their head to the bottom of their toes, and that's why I follow that style of theater. I don't really enjoy the American psychological theater. And there's a theater in Zakopane, Poland called the Witkiewicz Theater that I pretty much grew up at since I've been going there since I was a teenager. And when I went there, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And it's a rep system, which does not exist in the United States either, where they play a different show every single night, same people for 30 years. And they have maybe like 50 shows under their belt. And every time I go to see a show there, I'm just like, oh my God, could we do this? Could we ever do this? Because they are like super stars.
Stanislaw
Witkiewicz. Exactly.
Theater.
Who's my favorite playwright as well.
Okay.
And it's a little theater. Well, it's not a little theater because European Union. It's a gorgeous state-of-the-art space. But it's in the mountains. And I also do a lot of touring with my theater company. We're little stars in Romania, Moldova. We were the first American theater company ever to play in Moldova, actually. Oh, wow. So we do the festival, the international festival circuit quite often.
Okay.
But when we are there, we save some extra money and time just so I can bring everybody over to the Witkiewicz Theater in Zakopane to show them what I think is the greatest standard of theater. And that is my biggest inspiration. And I'm trying to do that in Chicago. So I basically have a joke. I go there, I see shows, and I steal everything, and I bring it to Chicago. And they're like, oh, wow.
Okay. God, all right. We're going to start wrapping it up now, but where can people get tickets? And for which days? I already said that, but tonight, tomorrow night, as well as next weekend, you can get the tickets through Eventbrite. Yes. And I believe the local one, Doma Ticket, is also selling them. I don't know if they are.
I'm not sure, but I think tonight is sold out.
Okay,
And there's only a
kids.
So we have a
ticket-
waiting list, and there's always a chance to get in because there's always someone that doesn't show up.
Okay, so folks, for those of you who are wanting to get tonight, this is a function that's going on tonight. Now, tomorrow night, what time does the show start, actually?
7 p.m.
So tonight is at 7 p.m. or
Tonight is at 8, tomorrow is at
So
7.
there's a little bit of a lighter matinee tomorrow at 7. Remember, this is just an hour plus of a presentation as well. And you can get those tickets through Eventbrite, as well as the links that we're going to be putting up through Instagram and on our Facebook and all that good stuff, as well as the tags that everybody's going to have there. So get those tickets now. Like they said, tonight is sold out, but you can get your name on the waiting list as well and get your tickets for next week. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to Trapdoor Theater and for everybody for being here today. And is there
you for
anything
having
that
us.
we need to say, anything that we missed that we should make a note of before we pop on out?
Yes, I'd like
Please.
to quickly just say that I'm also starting a new program in the countryside in El Forja with one of the actresses that's in our show, Julia Fossi. She has a beautiful country house outside of Reus, and we are creating a acting program for anyone, international students, to come for a week-long session. Nima's going to be one of our teachers this year, and I'm going to be teaching the end of the summer session. So it's called the Actorscape. We
Actors
have
Escape.
a website up if you want to learn more information about it.
And that is
Instagram too.
and Instagram actorsescape.
It's actor_escape on Instagram.
Actor_escape on Instagram and actorsescape.com as well. And she's not kidding about this beautiful home outside of Reus. So this is a wonderful place. And shout out to Julia, who's my lip smacker. Every time we see each other, mwah, it's a lip smack. And she's also, is she not also in the play?
She's in the play.
So another shout out to Lady Julia. We love you, lady. And we love you and thank you so much for being here. Remember, folks, this is The Troublemaker at Espaipaluso this weekend and next weekend. And we will see you same bat time channel next week as well, everybody. We're going to throw a little bit of music out as well. Simon Spine is getting on my spine, but this is a DJ that I really dig, and this is a strange track called Wizard Acid. Power to the people, everybody. Remember, love yourself, love others, and stay away because COVID's everywhere. No, I'm kidding. Love yourself and love others, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, everyone.